What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is August 11th of 2018. Well, folks, it's time for a daily update here on the DataDash channel, and today we've got some key things to discuss here on the update. As always, we're going to be spending a decent amount of time taking a look at market valuations as well as doing some technical analysis on the market leaders, really trying to get a read for where we are in this bear market. And outside of that as well, we've really got one key topic that has been circulating around over the past 24 hours, and that is the well-known David Marcus from Facebook, who worked very heavily on the Messenger app, going towards working at Coinbase, and now leaving his position at Coinbase to go back to Facebook and work on a long-term set of blockchain-based projects. So, does this mean that Facebook is getting into crypto, and is it a good thing or bad thing? I want to talk about it a little bit later on in the video, give my personal opinion, and try to provide a decent summary as to what Facebook could be building. But anyways, first, let's go ahead and dive into the daily update and focus in on market valuations. Before we dive into the numbers, I just want to be clear with you guys on a few things. I understand the crypto market is in an absolute bloodbath right now. We have obviously expected that crypto would show a decent bit of resilience, so because of that, I will say that I've been a little bit off on it in that case, and I apologize. I make some wrong calls in these markets, everyone. I'm not perfect, but at the same time, I want to admit to those mistakes and look forward and see what we can look out for in regards to trend and where the market might be going over the next few weeks. But going on here, as you can probably see, there's little to no players in the green here holding their valuations. The market is again continuing on the downtrend here. Now again, I'm still confident in the fact that we're in the ninth inning, that we don't have much more to go in this, guys, because there's a lot of signs. As we'll take a look at the TA here as well as on CoinMarketCap, there's some pretty good details that'll show us that we're pretty close to the end of this cycle. So if we go here, for example, to the yearly, we had broken down below our $250 billion level of support, but again, have closed out all of the hyped up gains from November and December here back towards more reasonable levels. And also as well, we're getting close towards these previous levels down here as well that acted as resistance, such as what we saw back in August. But the big thing I want to talk about before we get into the TA side of things is our key indicator of market dominance here. Bitcoin has gone through 50% market dominance here. Again, this is where I said if we can get past 50% dominance, this is where I'm going to start feeling very confident that we're in the ninth inning, that this is getting towards the ending point for altcoins flushing. But again, might have another few days of room. Again, this flush can take some time, guys, but this is where I'm starting to get very confident that the pain and the brutal price action we've been seeing is starting to finally set on a course to reverse here eventually. Now, when I say that again, I want to really emphasize that, because I'm not saying go out there and just buy alts, buy alts, buy alts. What I'm saying is that at this point, we should be looking for a trend reversal here relatively soon. We don't get too optimistic on alts, and we don't just keep stacking up on alts until we see a trend reversal. That's the key thing as a trader. You want to wait for trends to reverse. If you can keep on waiting and get a discount, that's an awesome opportunity. The fact of the matter is, though, is that crypto can move relatively quick. So if you can't keep a sharp eye on it, set levels where you feel comfortable yourself, guys, on your favorite plays. Again, it's different for everyone. Everyone has different levels of risk and reward and different projects that they like. But when you see stuff like this, when you see Bitcoin getting past dominance levels like 50%, remember over here as well, when we got past 60% dominance, and then eventually we had the massive flush on Bitcoin dominance after not only Bitcoin had rallied, but along with that as well, altcoins came in afterwards and stole a lot of that dominance in the market. But I don't know if I'm expecting something that dramatic. And at the same time, I'm not expecting Bitcoin dominance to go to 60%. Again, could be off on that, but I think at 50% here, especially in this market, altcoins are relatively oversold and have cut out a lot of the market dominance. So going on here, let's go ahead and talk about Bitcoin here. Now, at the current moment, we can see that we've been holding at 6,000. There was a little bit of a cutoff on Bitfinex. I think they had frozen trading, or maybe the API isn't coming through clearly, but here's something you don't get in crypto is gaps. You don't get gaps in cryptocurrencies because it's trading 24/7. But if you go on most exchanges, basically we had a sell-off down here holding above 6,000. Now, as you all know, I've talked about this continuously. 6,000 is the key level here. If we break below, say around 5,800, like we did back previous time before, if we break below the lows we had over here, I'm not going to doubt it, guys. We're going to probably see 5,000 in that case, and I'm fine with that. But again, we need to see a double bottom breaking below this before we can really get to that level and really see the next few $100 go down in Bitcoin's valuation. At the moment, though, we're still holding well above 6,000 at the moment. We haven't gone below 6,000 on this downturn. So it's going to be a question over the next few hours, maybe the next few days, if this can hold or if we can get a rebound off of it. The thing that I want you guys to focus on, and this is something I haven't done a trading tip video on, but I think is very, very important to watch. And I'll actually just go ahead and bring up the chart here by clicking on it. This is an interesting indicator to watch, as well as the opposite, which is the long version. I recommend that you guys look at the index of Bitcoin shorts and Bitcoin longs, and this can give you a really good picture as to where the market is gauging, how people are trading at the moment. And what we can historically see is when traders get over excited, or over bearish or over bullish in a case, and when we can start to see trends reverse in regards to price. So let's go ahead and take a look at the BTC shorts here. We can see historically that there's a few major moments where Bitcoin shorts reversed. Over here back in November, right before the massive rally up towards 20,000. This was when Bitcoin was trading around anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000. And then along with that as well, we have a peak here in April when we had one of the biggest flushes in Bitcoin shorts that we had seen in a while. This is when we got the massive rally of almost $1,000 in one day back in April. And then again, we had a trend reversal here in June as we started to get an uptrend in price. And then as prices come down, shorts have gotten bigger. But the key thing I always point out here, if there's any key even level here that I've seen on the shorts, and we can even see it, trading as we speak here over the daily, is 30,000. We tend to see when shorts reach up to around 30,000 on the index, we tend to see a rise in price. We start to see shorts getting liquidated. The only case that we can really see here since all the way back in August was here in April, when the market was extremely pessimistic, and out of nowhere we had a massive set of buy candles coming in and a massive liquidation, dropping it down to about half of the amount of shorts that we had previously. And then we can see on the longs as well. Longs are relatively low right now. We've obviously seen it lower in the past, but again, both numbers have generally risen over the past few months because we're seeing more people short and more people long, more people trading on leverage on these exchanges. I mean, again, I've been ranting on about how more people are getting on BitMEX and trying to trade leveraged. It's probably not healthy to do that, especially to the short side as prices are going down, but at the same time, longing at these levels. If you're trading on really high margin and there's a chance that Bitcoin can go to 5K, you might want to be careful. Again, to understand how to use leverage properly is what's going to help you win in trading leveraged cryptocurrencies, or trading cryptocurrencies on leverage. So again, my key thing, looking for 6,000 here. If we break below the previous lows over here, around 5,800, I think we're set for 5,000, and worst case scenario, 4,000. But we're going to have to remain patient on that. Again, watch what the shorts are doing, guys. The leverage platforms are where people are trading right now. They're getting very impatient. What I do want to dive into is altcoins, though. And I want to show you all why, again, I'm very confident that we're in the ninth inning, and a lot more players are starting to show it. So we've talked about a few of them, and I'll go ahead and run through some of these players. Now, there's a lot of altcoins, for example, that are momentum plays that have started to come back down towards their previous level of support. We have Tron here, for example, which we know, no matter if you like it or not, it's momentum play. It's coming back down to its support level here. For example, another protocol here, I'm just going to go through some that I had on my mind as of recent. Qtum or Quantum, whatever you want to call it, back down to its lows in December here. We have, for example, as well, Dash, one of the large cap players. Dash finally coming down back to the level before we saw the parabolic run up, and interestingly enough, is a key level of resistance 3 times in the past, now acting as support continuously over the past few times. We've seen some flash sales down to this price range as well. Komodo as well, which was one of my trading plays that I've been keeping an eye on here. Again, I haven't initiated the trade, but I love how it's holding down here, how we started to get some buy action down at this price range. Again, still keeping an eye on this one. We also have ADA, Cardano, holding on its key support level, which has become support ever since this key level of resistance here. So again, we're starting to see in this market that there's some plays here, and even in the privacy coins specifically, I've been noticing a general trend here. I swear I wish there was a feature that would just select the one with the most price action, but in this case we can see, for example, Verge making what possibly could be new support at 200 sats, a very big even down at these lows, whereas it was previous resistance. before all the parabolic run up. You want to make on these macro trends previous resistance, new support. So that's what I'm watching here. I'm trying to see that with a lot of these players. XMR, BTC, or Monero. Look at this. We're down in the last Fibonacci level here, getting close towards the line of support that has been rising ever since back in 2017. This is what I want to see. I want to see this bounce off here. I want to see one last flash sale to touch those lows, to build support. That would be very, very healthy here. And also another privacy coin that I spotted was Zcoin here. If we take it to Bittrex, we can see that this is holding on a historical level of support, which is previous resistance. So, we can go across here and we can see that a lot of these are playing out as the way we want them to. We believe that we're hopefully stepping into the ninth inning, at least I do. But at the same time, as I say this, I want to be fair and neutral. There are some plays that do need to continue flushing in this market. There's a few plays that are still overextended. I'll go ahead and take a look at a few of them. Litecoin. Litecoin needs to reach down to 800,000 sats. It's already broken through 1 million, and in this case, we need to revisit down towards this lower range. Along with that as well, Ethereum. This is one we've been talking about extensively. I'm not downing it, guys. We still need to come down to about 4 million sats. We need to touch the lower part of this wedge if we want Ethereum to make a longer-term breakout and confirm a steady bottom in this market, because there's no real level of support until we get to 4 million satoshis. So again, remaining patient on that. XRP BTC, Ripple, one of the biggest momentum plays, and I'll even get it up here on Bittrex so we can see it clear. We know that this has come down to much lower prices. Unless this is going to hopefully hold maybe at 4,000, maybe doubling the bottom from what we saw last time at 2,000 sats. Maybe we might see that, but I'm not touching it until it goes there. We saw it hold back here as well, which is around 4,000 sats. So maybe it'll make that as new support, or we'll at least get a short-term rebound like we did. But until we reach 4,000, again, remaining patient. NEO as well, another big protocol. Want to take a look here and get it here on Bittrex, because we can see very clearly that this has been the level of support, 200,000 satoshis, and right now we're sitting around 300,000 satoshis. We need probably another decent 33% decline comparative to Bitcoin here. We need to see it come down to this level, I think. So there's still some players in this market that need a pretty dramatic flush in valuation. Some that, again, I think many of us have been hoping would go up for quite some time. I've been talking about NEO and a few others needing to correct a decent amount from their highs. I've been right on some of these calls, but at the same time, I've made some wrong calls in regards to plays like NANO, for example, which I'm still holding on to. I love NANO as a project, and even some of these trades as well. But again, we have to remain patient and vigilant, guys. When markets are like this, don't think that it's over forever for altcoins or cryptocurrencies in general. You want to look for discounts, okay? So we just have to remain patient here. Don't feel like you need to add right away. Just keep an eye out, do some research, find some plays that you like, and again, assess your risk and reward. Do what we've talked about in our trading tip series. I think that's the best thing people could do right now, is go back, watch the trading tip series. Just, if you got the time, binge watch through it and start to go back through some of those lessons we talked about. Very simple TA, and as well as that, some very interesting things you can use to keep ahead of the market and keep up with things. So now that we've talked about this, now that I've rambled on about the market and talked about the ninth inning analogy enough, let's go ahead and talk about this. This is a big headline piece because it is an interesting topic. It's not something that I'm fearing or really excited about. It's just something that's going to happen, and that is Facebook potentially getting involved in blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Some of these large tech giants. Again, it would be idiotic to think that Facebook and all these companies are not going to get exposure for two reasons. One, it's just smart business-wise, with all the money that they have, with all the capital and resources and employees they have, to not experiment in these different markets, especially as a lot of these tech giants are plateauing and are becoming multi-$100 billion, if not trillion-dollar companies. It's important that they do that. And second off, for shareholders, they want to see exposure. We can see, for example, when Square had accepted Bitcoin as a form of payment, stock went up. Again, you can see this with a variety of different companies out there. Many people have been hoping to see the same with Amazon and other companies, whatever it may be. But it's not too hard to think that Facebook might create its own cryptocurrency. And with David Marcus, who is a well-known entrepreneur in the company who's been working towards building on the Messenger app, could be the step for that as he's going back to Facebook. So he's recently left Coinbase, and they've said it's to avoid an appearance or a conflict of interest in regards to potentially working with both companies in this case. But he's basically originally a Facebook employee who worked for Coinbase, joined the team as of recent, and then has now decided to leave. And it's interesting because he's announced that he's going back to Facebook to go and work towards building blockchain-based projects. So you can read through the article here. It's relatively small, but a lot of people have been talking about, Coinbase acquisition by Facebook. I don't know about this kind of stuff, guys. It's all speculation. This rumor has, again, if you watch consistently the daily updates on the channel, this rumor stemmed out back a few months ago from a random article that had no source. It was an anonymous source, if I remember correctly. If not, it had no sources. It just said it was plausible. And again, the media snowballs these types of rumors. I don't want to sell you guys that. What I do want to sell you is the idea that David, along with many other people at Facebook, might be working towards this blockchain project, and this blockchain project might be a Facebook cryptocurrency. Again, the key thing that I think is a hint here is that he worked for the Messenger unit. Okay, now, for those of you who have used Messenger on Facebook, I'll be honest, I have a lot of criticisms on the privacy of Facebook and a lot of the issues with Facebook personally, but I gotta be honest, the Messenger is pretty interesting. It's a nice application for sending messages. It's very convenient. But the one thing that interests me here, and why I'm interested that David Marcus, out of all people, came back to work at Facebook and is working on a blockchain-based project, and he works with the Messenger app, is that there's a cash sending feature. Much like a lot of the mobile payment solutions that are coming out, Facebook has not been behind on this. They've actually built in features within their application to send friends money over Messenger. And I have no doubt that they're going to experiment in building some type of payment or remittance payment solution inside of Facebook's Messenger. Now, could this be a cryptocurrency? Yeah, I think there could very well be a cryptocurrency for it. If not, it's going to be a stable-based US dollar cryptocurrency that could be branded under Facebook in this case. Or they could at least just be experimenting in this way. Either way, here's the thing that I want to talk about, guys. The question here is whether or not it's good or bad. Again, we're still sitting at a speculative period right now. We don't know if this is the case. I think there's a high case of it rather than a Coinbase acquisition. Maybe that'll come later. But whether or not they acquire Coinbase, could we see Facebook do this? And if they do, is it a good or bad thing? Well, this is a really good tweet by Jackson Palmer here. And I like this tweet in a moral case. Again, this is something that a lot of people bring up with the Bitcoin ETF. And I think, again, as much as I think that we're going to see a Bitcoin ETF, and I think it'll be great for price, this is something that I always bring up. And it was pointing out towards the fact that everyone just a few months ago was talking about Cambridge Analytica, and everyone was talking about how Facebook doesn't have respect for privacy, and I just mentioned it a few moments ago. It's a genuine concern by a lot of people. Yet at the same time, people are pushing it aside and saying, oh, we want these companies to acquire Coinbase. We want these companies to not only get involved in acquiring companies in the crypto space or acquiring cryptocurrencies, but we want to see them build their own cryptocurrencies, and we don't really care about security or privacy. That's something that I have sensed as cryptocurrencies have gone more mainstream, and it's why, as of recent, I don't like to just focus on the price action, guys. I want to start talking about tech on this channel as something that I tweeted out about recently. And I still want to do these daily updates, and I still love markets because it's my specialty. It's what I do. I understand markets to a decent degree, not perfect by any means, but at the same time, I do have these moral values that I hold, and I don't want to see us completely abandon them. That being realized, here's why I'm going to say that I'm completely fine with Facebook creating cryptocurrencies. The fact of the matter is, one, companies will always create what they want to create, okay? If a company wants to go out and create a cryptocurrency, if Amazon wants to create a cryptocurrency, or Apple, or if I want to go create my own cryptocurrency, I can do that. And I can give myself as much centralized control, as much censorship power on that currency, or lack thereof, if I choose to do it. The fact of the matter is, though, is that if people go out and adopt these cryptocurrencies created by Facebook, we know, as Jackson was actually indicating here as he was talking with people on Twitter, was that they're going to have centralized forms of control. They are going to build their own functionality and to be able to control their cryptocurrency. And the fact of the matter is that people are going to either have to learn through word of mouth and through lessons, or they're going to have to learn through lessons of experience. It's, again, you can go around the world and tell people how bad centralized government fiat currency is and tell them how great cryptocurrency is and yada yada, whatever it is. no matter what, you have to go through experience. And we can see this is happening on the global stage when it comes to currency. People in Venezuela, people in Argentina, people in Turkey are feeling the pain. They realize that they can no longer trust centralized currencies from governments, and that cryptocurrencies can provide a wonderful alternative. Sometimes you got to learn through experience. It's a terrible trait of humans sometimes that we can't go off of word of mouth a lot of times, but again, it's how good traders learn, and it's the same way as to how people are going to adopt the right currency for themselves to retain purchasing power, be censorship resistant, and again, be able to do commerce as we please with low fees, with no freezing of transactions in that case, no censorship resistance as we stated before. That's the key here. Sometimes we have to learn the value of these things and taking the responsibility of managing our own money. Anyways, guys, I'd love to hear what you all think about this. What do you all think about Facebook potentially acquiring Coinbase, a Facebook cryptocurrency? Would you use it yourself? And what terms would you set in regards to using a company's cryptocurrency? What would you expect as a standard status quo for the certain features that would come with it or standards? And along with that as well, what do you all think about crypto markets at the moment? I'd like to hear what you all think down below in the comments. But until the next video, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great day, everyone.